And John Stockton, the smallest man on the court, but he's tough.
He really is tough. He's fighting over these picks all day long. He got nailed there by Duckworth, but he never stopped. He just kept coming.
Things start getting interesting. Watch Fred Roberts. Look at the elbow that Byron Houston delivers right there.
Oh.
And Roberts goes down in a heap. Does he ever? Those two would also get tangled up later. Coach, you take this one for me, will you?
I'll be happy to take this one. Keep an eye on Byron Houston and Fred Roberts. They're going to get tangled up down here. They're still elbow to elbow, caught. Now watch. As Houston gets up, Roberts is going to grab him, get a little trip in. He is still mad from that elbow that he got. But now watch Mike Dunleavy. He's upset. He's coming out. He's going to tackle him. He's going to, no, he changed his mind. Oh, this is wild.
He takes a look at Byron Houston and says, no, I'm not going to get a piece in. But Roberts wants a piece of Byron Houston here. These guys getting to know each other all too well this evening. There's a little push.
Whoa.
Separate them before any more harm is done.
No babies allowed.
NBA. And some rough stuff in New Jersey tonight as the Sixers took on the Nets. Take a look. Armin Gilliam, Eric Coleman. A little bump. Somebody wake me when this one's over, will you? Ed T. Rush had seen enough, too. He said, Gilliam, Coleman, you're both out of here for that performance. Right now, under 3 minutes to go. New Jersey pulling away, leading by 18. Now, back to Bob and Doug.
We're talking heavyweight fight there, Ernie. Yeah, there was more backing up, though, than there was more fighting. The guys who got in at the end to break it up, I think, had more bumping. Counting time missed, that Knicks scuffle with Phoenix, $300,000 worth of fines and penalties.
That's
so
I think pocket change to you, Bob. I bet not to these guys, to you. You didn't let me finish. Old length. Portland All-Star Clyde Drexler, one of the Blazers, ticketed with technical fouls. He symbolized the Portland emotion, Portland frustration. Drexler's second tee resulted in a game dismissal and some critical press. Drexler's the team captain, and in our visit, he appealed his case.
I think we got to leave those guys alone and let them do their job. But at the same time, they've got to give us the same respect they give the other teams. And as far as being whiners, I think we're not perfect. We make mistakes, we whine, but every team you look at does the same thing. So you can't single one team out and say they're a bunch of whiners when the other team is doing exactly the same thing, if not much more.
Has become the celebration. Down to 10 seconds. Elijah Wan, yes, and it counts. And that will do it.
Very productive first half with 10 points. Ran inside. He's molested by about 3 blue jerseys, and he goes down hard, as does Tony Campbell. Got a knee to the thigh. I think he's going to be okay. And Pat Riley is livid on the far side with his players. Or no, with Jack Neese. I think he wanted a charge. There was no charge.
No, not a charge.
They called a flagrant foul. That is what Pat Riley is arguing once again. Excessive force and unnecessary force, which is a technical and the ball out of bounds for Washington. And that foul was called on, I think it was Charles Oakley, or it was on Oakley. His third.
I've seen more physical fouls than that that have not been called flagrant, and I think that, as you mentioned, is why Pat Riley is so upset. Sam Oakley came in
The right elbow.
with too much body and the elbow there.
We saw a flagrant in Tokyo with Vernon Maxwell coming in hard. So 2 games, 2 flagrants as Grant gets the first. 75% on the year so far is Charles Oakley, who Pat Riley says has really embraced his role on this team as a rebounder and an enforcer, and given up a lot of scoring to do that. Grant gets them both, and Pat Riley even goes so far as to say that Charles Oakley is the real spirit of this team in a lot of ways.
L.A. has 3 timeouts left.
Good defense against Jordan.
Oh, my, yeah. Yeah, right now. Cartwright just popped Divac, but the foul was called before. Jake O'Donnell was right on the play. Divac was trying to outmuscle Cartwright and stop him from getting into a post-up, and you'll see it right here. You're going to watch what happens. As Cartwright tries to move, he pops Divac right there, but Jake O'Donnell had already called the foul. Cartwright struggling on the foul line once again.
Welcome back to Chicago Stadium. Prior to the game, we visited with Bill Cartwright. Asked him about Bill Laimbeer possibly in his last game tonight. He had no comment. The fans just voiced their opinions. But how about these quotables? Horace Grant and Darrell Walker. Horace says, I'll miss Bill Laimbeer like someone would miss cancer. And Darrell Walker says, hey, the Bulls and the rest of the NBA aren't the only guys who may not like Bill Laimbeer. Tom and Johnny?
Well, you're right. The fans.
You
really
said something before the game on Earth Day. You think the fans would like to plant him?
Yeah. I thought you liked that line, by the way.
NBA, we have a rule that says if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back. And here Buck hits Terry. Terry hits him back just to let him know that, hey, you cannot do that to me.
So you're getting that physical? Or...
Oh, yeah. I always got guys back when they hit me.
Did you?
It may have not been on that particular play, but the next play or two down the court, I always got them back, because if a guy hits you, Dick, and you didn't get him back, he's going to hit you all day.
Who was toughest physically on you?
Oh, man, who wasn't?
Think about it.
Yes. Right now, you're having a lot of talking going on, because elbows have been flying. Right there, Tony knocks Danny down, and he's complaining. Right now, they're still talking about it at half court.
Foul was on Divac. And for Clyde Drexler, that's his 10th free throw.
Oh, boy, they brushed by McMillan, and he runs into Jeff Malone's face with an elbow, and that'll be a foul on McMillan. His first.
They will let a lot of contact go on, but they will not let this type of stuff go on, where McMillan continued his movement, stuck his shoulder, and the shoulder went right into the mouth and nose of Jeff Malone. And now Ty Corbin, and they're going at it a little bit too, McMillan and Ty Corbin. I'm sure McMillan a little frustrated in his poor shooting in the playoff, and he's trying to take it out on the other end.
John Stockton set in for Utah. Here's another look at it. McMillan is kind of leaning that shoulder out and caught Malone on that moving screen, and that's a pretty good blow.
Didn't mean that, Bill Laimbeer. Please excuse me.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
you meant it. Sure. But also, you can see that both teams went to their guards.
Cartwright going after the basketball, the elbow there. Kevin Gamble knows it's coming. He backs away.
Warm-ups the rest of the season. Well, there is the loser, Joe Clyde, wearing a fine-looking North Carolina t-shirt. Rick Fox